says you're live.
Cool. Okay.
Or I just got a notification of it.
Yep. Looks like we're live. And I can see the chat for all of those. I don't know where all we're live. We might be live in multiple places.
Maybe. I just seen in Mom's for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Well, something worked this week. Guys, if you are watching us live, I see a couple of eyeballs there. Feel free to join us in the Zoom.
You're muted, Sherry.
Yep, I had to sneeze. Sorry, guys.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'll drop the link.
You guys are welcome to join us live if you want to grab that link from Megan. It is spring.
All right.
Oh, Megan, I didn't grab that. I tried to grab that testimonial and it's gone. Where is it? Bummer.
Good morning, Suze.
We'll proceed. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, are you guys ready to get started? I love chatting with you guys. If you guys have questions for us as we do get started, feel free to post those in the chat and we will answer them towards the end. Or as we go if we are able to. Okay. So for those of you who don't know us, we are technically coaching businesses for success. I'm Sherry, if you're listening on the podcast, and Megan is joining us today as well. Equal co-host. So much fun. If you're not in the Facebook group and you are joining us on YouTube or podcast, welcome. If you are in the Facebook group and you want to catch us on YouTube or podcast, feel free to follow us there. Hopefully that makes your life easier to find us and all of those things. On these calls, these podcasts, these recordings, however you're finding us, we give you the complete behind the scenes to our bookkeeping businesses, what is working, what is not. And if all you did was attend this call in conjunction with your bookkeeping education, you could very well achieve your bookkeeping business goals. So Q&A happens at the end of the call. If you're listening on Facebook, feel free to join us using the Zoom link. Ashley had given us a shout out that was posted this week or reposted this week. And she said, I absolutely have to give a shout out to CB4S. Without the expertise and massive support, there's zero way I could get through a few of these particular clients. If you're on the fence of joining, do it. If you can't join, the option to purchase calls is absolutely worth every penny. So if you need financial reviews, things like that, that's what she's referring to there. I love that we have those options in this group because it isn't an all or nothing thing because they care. Just my 2 cents. And Sarah posted, my thoughts exactly. CB4S gave me the confidence to send out proposals I never thought I could with my bookkeeper journey currently. Love this group and support from all the mentors is amazing. And Sarah did just send out a larger quote. So it's definitely possible, definitely something. And that is one of those options. We are told all the time to not give some of those options, and we just refuse to let them go because we know as bookkeepers ourselves how valuable They are. You don't have a coworker anymore if you've left your 9 to 5. And if you think about like normally in like working environments, you have someone, you have a manager, you have a CEO, someone you can ask questions to of, hey, how should we do this? Can I pick your brain? Can I, problem solve with you? And that's what the one-to-ones are for. So anything going on in your business, you can use those. You can combine that with our education program side of things. If you're looking to go deeper into bookkeeping or learn the basics, whichever way wherever you're at there. If you're looking for our upcoming events, so for instance, if you did not get access to the masterclass that we just did, feel free to let us know. We'll get that to you, either in the chat or in the comments, and we'll get that to you. But you can also grab our calendar for all of those free events if you're looking for those. Okay, so when are taxes due? This feels like a conversation that always should be had at like, December area. We start focusing on 1099s in December. But I feel like as me and Megan have been talking with you guys, and as tax season has gone, I feel like the best time to prepare for next tax season is like right after tax season, if not during, when we're, making notes on what are we not liking about how this season is going. What can we change? What can we improve? And that's what we want to chat with you guys today. So I'm going to stop sharing just because I feel like it's easier to see everyone without a PowerPoint, but we're just going to dive in. So if you guys have questions, if you're like, hey, this happened to me this tax season, or I'm experiencing this right now, let's chat about it. And then we'll revisit this a couple of times going into next tax season so that you are ahead of the curve and not dealing with the same chaos if you're experiencing chaos this year. So one of the points, or Megan, do you want to say anything before we get into the
Nope, that's
list?
perfect.
Okay, chime in as you have examples of what you're doing, because I know it's been anytime that there's growth in the business, it can be really hard to adjust in scale. I see Anna said, I can attest to that. So helpful. Anna, I'm so thankful that you're you said that, and you're getting results, which I love. So number one, stay organized throughout the year. Sometimes it can be really easy to get into tax season, get to the end of tax season and be like, okay, I can hit a stride. And our clients can kind of do the same thing. Like, okay, my taxes are done. I'm done. But we almost want to communicate an urgency to stay on top of it monthly. Not only does getting monthly financials help them run their businesses better, but it helps us eliminate that chaos at year end, because we're going to have all the documents, all of the receipts, all of the records organized. So that way, when they come to us, I think Megan, you just had someone say, oh, by the way, last year I had all these cash receipts you were just telling me about. And yes, you've asked them every month.
And they've been a client for multiple years. It's not like this was brand new client, anything along those lines. So yeah. Sometimes no matter how much we try to prepare, they throw us curveballs.
They do yep. So talking to them throughout the year, seeing if we can dig up that information, it's really the best way to kind of hit that off. But again, sometimes it's not fail-proof. Set realistic deadlines. So I know this year in December, I sent all of my clients, hey, this is our timeline for going into tax season. This is when I need everything by. Let me know if you are filing an extension. Let me know if you already have like a deadline from your tax preparer on when you need stuff. And went ahead and start getting all of that in place. So I had very clear deadlines. If then yes. If not, then no. Like, what are you going to get and when? Part of that's really helpful if you do 1099s. Again, you do not have to do 1099s. We've talked about that in a previous episode. But if you are, I use that as an opportunity to just combine all of that into like year-end expectations. And so, hey, here's what we're doing if we're doing 1099s all the way through tax season. I just send them an email, a really concise email of this is what to expect. It's really helpful if you can do that a couple of times throughout the year, sending reminders so they're used to getting emails from you that are important and create urgency and add value just from a communication standpoint, but not so often. So like if you are doing email marketing, make it very clear that this is a marketing email and this is a urgency email. So you can do that by sending them from different emails. So like my marketing email is different from my firm email, like my email, my personal inbox email. That way they get, those emails, if they put them in a folder, whatnot, my personal emails to them are still going to get to their inbox and pop right up there. Also, I do have a portal I use. And so they get emails from that portal. That is also with a different email. So I send all of these emails from my email so that they go to their inbox and they can't, like, hopefully they haven't filtered them out throughout the year. I also ask for a positive response from it. I ask them to reply. That way I know who didn't. You can track who opened it, but you want them to respond like, hey, I got this. I still had 2 clients who got the email, ignored the email and said, well, I need this or I need that. Like, that happens too, but you can at least kind of use that email as like, wait for this is the expectation. So both of those, so staying organized, setting realistic expectations, makes this third one kind of, we've already talked about it, but communicate with clients. Communication for me in my firm is physically like a written pillar in my company. Communication is key to smooth operations. Sometimes, like if we're not getting stuff from clients or we get really busy, I think it's just human nature that we want to like retreat and not communicate. We want to hide from them. Like, don't talk to me, don't communicate with me. If you do send me stuff, I'm not going to get to it for 4 weeks because I've got this cleanup or whatever it is going on. But if we can lead with communication before they're asking, we can hit a lot of stuff off at the head. And it also puts you in control of the relationship from a service provider standpoint versus reactively communicating with clients. Being proactive in that communication can encourage them to submit the necessary information like on time, all of those documentations, and feel like you've got them, feel like you've got things under control, even if you like feel like you don't. Leading with communication before they're asking can really head those off at the pass. The fourth kind of thing we talked about was automating repetitive tasks. The reason this helps with year end is it can help with those reminders going out. It can help with making sure stuff is done, but it can free up your time. So if you have a client who always needs accounts receivable reports from you, instead of training a contractor, a team member, or creating a system for you to do it, go ahead and just automate those. You can send those automatically from QuickBooks Online, which saves you 15 minutes of having to remember to send a report or check a report, things like that. So use those repetitive tasks. Set up rules if you can, not necessarily saying auto add rules. I'm saying like you can set up rules so it pings you what they are so you and your team can make sure it's consistent. We can also automate. Megan and I just recorded a video on utilizing the QuickBooks Online workflow software and how to create custom tasks and links within QuickBooks. So that's in the Bookkeeper Blueprint course. But doing stuff like that really does save you time and builds in checks on how to review all of those things. So as much as we can automate those repetitive tasks, let's do that. That just frees you up and it reduces errors. So what can we check? How can we reduce those errors? How can we get it done efficiently? The fifth thing we have on the list is to stay updated with tax laws and regulations. So for instance, the BOLI type requirement, Staying on top of that stuff allows you to communicate, like already know the information when a client contacts you and says, hey, I have a question on this. You'll know if it's relevant or if it's being, what states it's already kind of been challenged. So that's just kind of an aside, but like going into December, we get really up to date on what are the new 1099 requirements. We also use November, December to get up to date on what are the new tax requirements. You can start doing that as early as August. What new changes are coming out? What have already been passed? And you'll take that from like August to February, really paying attention to those new tax laws, regulations, anything that impacts your clients or the industry for your clients. That just helps ensure compliance at the end of the day and help you know if your clients have something that you need to pay a little extra attention to so that it doesn't surprise you. So we're ultimately trying to reduce surprises. We're trying to reduce fires that you might have to put out. And this is some of those things to pay attention to. Number 6, y'all knew this was coming. Delegate when possible. And Megan added in her wise as soon as possible or sooner than possible. I think you said sooner than possible.
Sooner than possible.
So if you have a team, this could be just an admin. Amy, I believe in you. It can strengthen your capacity and it can really free you up mentally. So whether it's an admin, whether it's a bookkeeper, whether it's someone to review, you need to start somewhere. And those 3 are 3 good places to start. I would pick one of them. Sometimes, go ahead.
I was just going to make a comment that I wish I would have started like day one in my business, doing something along those lines. And as soon as hiring or signing on a client, knowing that how much ever 30% of that income, $100 of that income, whatever the case is, will be going straight to, and I'm going to say a contractor, but a contractor, admin person, whatever the case is, because when you start doing that, then it's easier to continue to do that because then you're not like, oh, I have $300. Like in the beginning of my business, every dollar counted. So it's like, oh, I have $300 more coming in. I need to pay this bill or we need to do this or whatever. But looking at it from a different perspective, and then you can take on more on your plate and not feel so stressed out, I think.
I think doing that at the beginning, it does a couple of things. So not only does it so if you were to have a client, you're like, okay, they're ready to go. I'm ready to hire someone at the very beginning. So this is your first client. You get in there, you know everything about this client. You've now created SOPs, so standard operating procedures for this client. And you're going to start setting up things in your firm, in your bookkeeping business, that are going to apply to multiple clients. So now your next client comes in, you're going to get them to that person quicker because you've already created the template. So we're going to copy paste. Some of it's going to stay the same because you're always going to do a couple of things the same for all clients across the board. And if it does tweak, it's just going to be a small tweak to that paragraph. And so you're going to have this operating procedure that you can apply. So not only are you getting the client cleaned up to your contractor faster, employee faster, whoever you're hiring there, you're also freeing yourself up quicker to go do more marketing. The other thing that's going to help you do is you're going to quote better because you're going to start to understand the true value of what you're providing to the client and the actual cost it's going to take to execute the work. So sometimes it's like, oh yeah, it's a friend, I can do it. I don't know how many times me and Megan have heard and or have done. Yeah, it's a friend, I can just do it for like $75 a month. You've got, 100 transactions, but I'll do it for $75 a month. No big deal. You won't take any time at all. Then we find out that we're spending 10 hours a month doing their books and answering their questions. If you have a contractor at the very beginning doing it, you're going to see that scope creep immediately because your contractor is going to get maxed out and you're going to not be able to give them work, but they're only earning $300 a month and you're like, what's going on? You're going to see it. Or the contractor is going to be like, hey, you're not paying me to do this. I need more money. And you're going to be like, well, I can't give you more money. And so you're going to see right off the bat, like, oh, we are paying the client to do their work. You'll also see this if you're doing hourly, it will send out maybe even quicker if you're charging the client hourly, or not charging the client hourly. If you're paying the team member hourly and it takes them 30 hours a month, now you're paying them $600 a month to do the books and you might only be collecting 300. Now that could be inefficiency, what's going on, but often, I think more often we see there's more work than you knew and you didn't quote accordingly. So there's a lot of good things that come when you delegate. It's not just about getting work off your plate. It's really running a business versus being just a freelancer. And there are a lot of tax benefits of doing this, but that aside, there's a lot of really good structure you can put in place when you delegate. It also reduces burnout overall. So if that person, I'm saying she, but your team member, he or she both do great in those roles. If they start getting maxed out, you know to hire another person. Or if you're like not able to, like, hey, we just had a client request, I need to give it to you, and you can't give it to them, you know, oh, okay, we're probably all headed to burnout because we're about to be really maxed out. And that might be a time to start increasing prices, either letting some clients go, increasing them. We have had coaches and bookkeepers send price increases and not lose a single client. We've also had coaches and bookkeepers send a price increase and really downsize their client list while maintaining their income. You could also reduce your income, obviously, if so there needs to be a lot that goes into that, paying attention to how well you've been communicating up to that point. Number 7 goes into that. Take breaks, take some vacations, pay attention to how you and your family are doing with balancing this business, whether it's a side business or a full-time business. Businesses can weigh heavy on a family. Especially if you're working from home, it's harder to unplug. Make sure you're taking those times especially going into or coming out of busy seasons. I think we see a really great example with Merrill Taylor, the CPA in our group. He's really good about taking vacations, and he takes them right before and like right after. And he does big vacations, not big, but like they physically get on a plane and go somewhere. Whether it's just him and his wife or him and his entire family. And I just think that's a really good example of protecting your family, who this business is designed to support. So take breaks, take care of yourself, even if you have to during tax season. If you need to be like, hey, right after March 13th, we've been pushing really hard for now almost 90 days because you did 1099s, then you went into year-end financials. Maybe as of March 17th, you're taking a 5-day break right after those March financials are done. So maybe the last week of March, if you can. Obviously, you'll know in your business, like, can you going into, because typically, and I say that because most tax preparers need financials even for the LLC by March 15th. So business returns by February 15th, typically speaking, March 15th for all other returns. And if they don't have it, they're filing an extension. So you know that they're filing an extension and you might be able to take a break. So know if you need that, take it if you need it. It could just be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That is not also work related because that was not a break. Last weekend I took a 4-day trip, but it was all related.
I think that's important to remember because I know I'm guilty of it. But like totally disconnect. I mean, even if it's like just a day that you totally disconnect, but turn your notifications off on your phone, turn your phone off, like totally step away. Because I'm bad about that. Like okay, we're going somewhere or whatever, but then my email's still coming through, my phone's still ringing, messages on Facebook, whatever the case is, so you're still kind of working or thinking about work or all the things, but yeah, like totally disconnect.
Yeah. So set up an autoresponder on your email. If you need help doing that, if tech is not your thing and you're like, hey, I just need someone to walk me through how to do this. So we set it up once. We can help with that. Get on a one-to-one call. That's a great use of that if you want someone to read your draft email. And then here's a hot tip for you. You might put your autoresponder a day out. So be back at your desk for a whole day while your autoresponder is on. That allows you to catch up on things, being unseen by clients. So just a hot tip. Or like put it on a day early so you can like finish projects before you go. Or I really, in the future, I think I'm going to do it the day I get back. That way I have like a buffer to kind of catch up to anything that came in or that was on my to-do list that didn't maybe get completely wrapped up. So that way that you can really disconnect. You have a day before, like you almost are buying that Monday back from yourself and not hiding from your clients, but like you're allowing yourself to serve them better by saying, hey,
Right.
I'm just going to work this day without interruption. So no meetings, no webinars, no interviews. It's just a day dedicated to work. If you need that, sometimes you'll be surprised on how much you might not need that, especially if you're building a team. But some of you guys are running more than one businesses. Some of you are still working full time. So that all adds up. So just pay attention to how much you actually have on your plate. Some of you guys have family members that require extra care, either children or parents. And so pay attention to that load as well. That all really adds up. And so some of you have that situation going on and you need to communicate better to your client saying, hey, our new policy is 72 hours of communication instead of 48, because you're missing that 48-hour window a lot. That could also be a sign that you need to hire, right? So setting those expectations could be just in boundaries of like everyday communication with your clients. You can also set up emails. So you can set up an autoresponder for every email that comes in saying, hey, if you need this, go to your portal. If you need this, I will return this message in, 48 hours of receipt or whatever. But if it's any of these things, please take that to the portal, because your team might see it in the portal and be able to answer quicker than you, and it's taken care of without you touching it. Okay, so take breaks, seek support when needed. Sometimes we start procrastinating on, so this kind of goes into, this is separate than delegate, this is separate than communication. This is the person you've hired, maybe you're training them. So there's something on your plate that you don't know how to do. Seek support through one-to-ones, any of those things. Sometimes it's just overwhelm and mindset, and we need to either take a break. Maybe that is outside counseling. Maybe that's getting on a mindset call with Megan. And mindset, I mean, like, I don't mean like, let's just lie to yourself into making it better, but like, what is the issue, and really identifying what is the issue in the business and what are some steps that we can take to get through it. And sometimes we just need an outside perspective to say, no, the entire world actually isn't on fire, but this thing really is on fire in your life. Let's solve this, because you might think it's this other thing. And so just having that, like, right, making the whole world sometimes feels like it's on fire.
Yep, most definitely.
If you're wanting to shut it down every 3 weeks, wanting to shut it down going into busy seasons, going into stressful moments, after you started procrastinating, all of those things, that's a normal emotion for a business owner. So if you've gotten to that point, know that that's normal. But let's address it before it becomes like, I am really burned out. And so then what we're doing right now is number 9, planning ahead for next year. So the reason we wanted to go ahead and do this call during tax season is you can be making notes now and making improvements now as you see them happening so that you already have them in place and ready to go next year. I actually did this in 2022 when the year-end email that I sent out. I actually did it a little bit later than I did this year. I think I sent it in January. And so that gave me the opportunity. That was like an improvement I made so that this following year I was able to send it in December. So those improvements that you can make throughout the tax season or any busy season. So September, August, October, when those deadlines start creeping up again. I know in my business, that's my second wave. And actually typically my primary wave of getting new clients, because I don't do a ton of marketing during tax season, just because I know like I'm already serving clients. And so while I want new clients, I'm typically not marketing. But that's for me and my specific goals. 100% tax season is a fantastic time to market, and you should be marketing. I market on the second half of the year. Like I hit it harder because the deadlines are less urgent. Well, they are urgent because that's the last extension, right? Like it's done there. So then, you might have to evaluate, do you want those cleanups? I don't mind them, given that they're not coming to me the week of. If they're coming to me the week of, it's a no. It's a no for you. You're probably not a client I want. It's going to be a no. There's no way I'm going to turn around a whole year in 5 days. Typically speaking, have I done it before? Yes. If it's really big and massive and messy, probably not. And so I'm probably not the person for them. Okay, that's all 9 points. Anything else we missed? Or you want to extrapolate? Like, how would you do any of those? Taking breaks, something that I'm going to implement, or we are implementing, is doing something out of the norm every 3 weeks. So every 3 weeks that weekend, we're doing something out of the norm. So we just took a trip that was out of the norm. It was business. But the kids went with, and so we executed on, let's make it fun and those things. And so we were very intentional. While we would have loved to spend more time with friends, and we had some opportunity to spend time with friends, we did focus on the kids and what they would enjoy. So 3 weeks from now, like the week of April 5th, that Saturday, we know that we're not going to travel, but we already have an itinerary of, hey, this is what we're going to do that Saturday that the kids will love and have fun. And that doesn't necessarily mean like spend all the money. There's a lot of free things that you can do. So we're kind of doing something that Saturday where we're probably going to go out to eat for breakfast and then go to like a museum and come back home for a nap. And then we'll probably go like do ice cream that afternoon. So like something out of the norm, but like build enough excitement into it that it's like, let's just take, so no one-to-ones, things like that day. And then we'll take another trip 3 weeks after that, but that one's already planned and it's not on a Saturday. And then we'll do, and then we'll be in camping season. So start taking the weekend to go camping. We'll see. To be determined how this will actually look out, but that's what we implemented this year to try to build in those take breaks, and for us frequent breaks, because that makes a little bit more sense to us than, and for our season right now with young kids, than taking like a whole week off where it like really messes with their schedule and stuff like that, where we can just frequently play versus like a whole weekend MIA. That still might mean I do take like a week where I'm MIA but home with them, you know, as part of that. But I don't know. There's something about decompressing. But that will come this summer probably.
Yeah.
Any questions? I will check. I'm watching illegally at work. Can you post the Zoom link? Megan, it looks like there's another request for a Zoom link. I missed it this chat.
Where's that at? On Facebook?
It says Facebook. It could be on the page or it could be in the coaching group. Because we might be streaming to all of those pages.
Oh.
Yeah, we
okay. Are. Oh, well, I didn't. Okay. Because I posted it on Mom's in the page, I think.
We might be. Let's see.
Oh, okay. That was Amy. Amy
okay.
messaged me. Yeah, she messaged me for the link,
Juanita,
so she was able to get it.
I see you guys. This just
Okay.
says Facebook user. It doesn't tell me from where. Suze, can you put this bullet pointed list in the chat? Yeah. It was super obvious. Like, I'm like looking.
Maybe we could add this to the email that's going out to.
Yeah, it's
for everybody who's watching.
list, actually.
Oh, well then maybe that's easier.
Yeah, we'll send out an email. I think Allie is prepping an email for you guys for like tax deadlines and some tips as well. So we'll send this. So if you aren't on our email list, make sure you're on our email list. Megan, can we drop I will grab the link for that.
Okay.
Here you go, Suze. But absolutely, we'll get the list sent out for you. So you started your own group on LinkedIn, like a group that like people can join, business owners can join, and you're marketing to them there.
Sherry, I'm going to ask a question to sidetrack with this link, and partially because somebody else may have a question, but I don't fully know either. If they need to sign, if they're trying to get on the email list, they just click on any of these things. So,
no, scroll to the bottom. Scroll to the very bottom, and there's like an opt-in form.
Oh, I see it now.
And then you'll get all of those emails. And
but there are, if they sign up for like the debits and credits or anything like that, they get added as well, correct?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay.
So, yep, if you want any of those things. Absolutely. Yay, Suze, I'm excited for you. Oh, cool. Okay. Awesome. And then Jennifer asked, is there a good resource for setting up SOPs? I don't know where to start. So we do have some resources in the Bookkeeper Blueprint. I use, you can use something like, you could use Zoom to like record how you do something. You could also set up your workflows. Like if you're using Keeper, we set up individual like task SOPs. So like I walk through the client. So in the template, like I've set up a template in Keeper and I walk through, here's everything that we do. But then in addition to that, if I have a client who uniquely has sales tax, we add the sales tax SOP to it and the task list associated with it. So that then there are tasks associated with that. So the best way to start that, there's multiple ways that we talk about and suggest. The best way is to brain dump everything that you do, and then just, it can be a Word document. I have a website I use that as you're doing the client's books, it will transcribe every click. So it will take screenshots and then it will like say you clicked here or like what you do on there. So it like really creates like a corporate type SOP. with click this, do this, code it here, do that. That sometimes is a little overkill for some clients. So I have transitioned to primarily focusing on the workflow. And then what do I expect you to do with uncategorized expenses? What do I expect you to do with vendors every month? What do I expect you to do? What do I expect you to look for? And then how do we code stuff? Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Okay. And if you want any of that other information, we can always dive in to create something specifically for you. But I would go, like top to bottom through like your entire account, like your entire month for that client, whether that's in checklist form or in like Word doc form. You can always start that by doing just a video and talking to yourself as you do the books. You can transcribe that video. That would be a little clunky to me, but that is one way you can make sure you've gotten all the aspects of it. But pulling up like a Google Doc as you do it, creating a checklist or an Excel sheet. I did it a couple of different ways until I found like a system that really worked and made sense with my brain to like capture everything. And then now that we have it in the workflow software, it's just adding the task to it. And typically from like another client saying, oh yeah, we've created this SOP for this client. We're just going to copy that section to this other client. So like onboarding, all of those things, like what are your expectations? And then I have a SOP section at the bottom of my workflow. And that is all the recorded videos for how to use the software, how to do other things. So if we have training videos, we also save those in an SOP folder and we title them. And then we link those videos to the task. So if we need additional detail, we do record a video and link that together. And then the person doing it is the one that updates it. So you should do it first. Every time after that, because remember, we're going to delegate sooner than we probably want. We're going to have that person doing it. If the screen changes, if a button moves, if, like every 6 months, they should be updating that video, replacing it in the Google Drive and linking it. And you might check the first few to make sure that they're updated, but we're going to have that person be keeping and maintaining those SOPs. That way, if they leave, they're already ready to go. Because that person might not give you any notice. They should be ready to go. We should never be, ideally, in a situation where now our employee is leaving. They've given us no notice, and we're scrambling to figure out what they were doing. So the person executing the work should be doing the SOPs. There's your hot tip of the day. Okay. Thanks for letting me talk longer on that. I had other thoughts. Okay. What else are you guys doing to take breaks? Is there anything else you've learned this tax season that you're like, I never want to deal with this particular aspect again? And maybe we can brainstorm if you're working on something right now that you're like, this is killing me, and you want to brainstorm, let us know.
I do have a question on a client that I onboarded in January. She was referred by the CPA, and the CPA used to charge her $150, and so that's what I charged her too. I mean, not the CPA, the previous bookkeeper, but the CPA is their auditor as well. This is a nonprofit. It's very basic, but it's bothering me because it's only $150 and I definitely work more than $150 a month. So then the CPA said, I'm sorry, it's my fault because um I always fix mistakes and I never tell them anything. So she paid me $50 extra a month, so basically 200 up until June. But now in June I have to talk to the owner. And I don't know if I should be talking to the owner or just let the client go and have peace of mind because even $200 a month, I feel that it's still not enough. And I don't know if it's worth my time with the client. As you said before, if you increase the prices, you could still have the same income, right? Because I could probably find someone else for $200 and work half an hour or an hour instead of 3 or 4 hours a month. So maybe I could still make up that loss if I let this client go and find someone else. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what to do with this client, and it bothers me, and I keep thinking about it. And June is coming up, and I have to talk to her because definitely I'm not gonna work for $150 a month.
I wouldn't wait till June. I would go ahead and let them know the price is increasing effective maybe June 1st, whenever their payment goes through in June. And then do the quote with what it actually is. But I would talk to the client ahead of time, letting them know, hey, this is what it actually costs to do this is what we would actually charge you. So effective June 1st, you have the option of continuing or disengaging. But here's the new rate.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
then it
Mhm.
handles itself at that point, you know.
Yeah,
You don't have to worry about what to do. Either you get compensated for your time or they leave and you find somebody else.
yeah, you're right. I definitely have to talk before June 1st so they can also have time to think about it or continuing with me or finding someone else. You're right. Okay, thank you.
And then that gives you time to figure out what the quote is. So like this month, figure out what the quote is. I would let them know. And I don't know what your engagement letter says. Some engagement letters I've seen bookkeepers send out with like 60-day notice. If that's the case, then you probably want to give them a notice April 1st, because that's 60 days or whatever that 60-day period is.
Mhm.
Yeah, Amber, I used to work at CPA firms. So I was an auditor. There were no breaks. There are no breaks. Not until after tax season.
I'm gonna take a break over the summer
Yeah.
when it's nice outside.
Yeah, but if you're not preparing taxes and you do not have to prepare taxes to have a successful bookkeeping firm, most
No, I
bookkeepers
don't.
we talk to really want the flexibility that can come with having an online business, bookkeeping business. And so really there shouldn't be, if done right, there doesn't have to be a lot of chaos during tax season because you're not really impacted by the tax deadlines since you're doing the books every month. So once you finish December books, you review for the entire year. Right after that, you can send your December and year-end financials at the same time, often before January 31st. So there is no like change to your workflow unless you're doing cleanups. So oftentimes we see the pressure at tax time come because bookkeepers are taking on cleanups to get the new clients since they're marketing at that time. So if you're just a bookkeeper focusing on bookkeeping or advisory services, you don't actually have the same tax deadlines. You do typically because you're marketing, but on the bookkeeping side, you don't have to, you can structure it so that January 31st and you're like, what is everyone talking about? Like, what do you mean tax season? And that would be a really good place to be. And it is possible with just bookkeeping, but I hear you, Amber. I hear you. I always felt like I was a year behind. I was just telling Megan that a couple of weeks ago. Like, I lived a year behind in audit, in the audit world. So, but yeah, Suze, hopefully your business looks a lot more like that. 1099s should get better the more years you do them, because you'll get better at getting the information up front or keeping track of it, or maybe you don't offer them if you don't want that hiccup at year end. Maybe you don't offer them and you let the tax preparer do it. Yeah, mine was a little busier for 1099s this year. Sue says, I feel like tax season starts in December. Yes, if you have a lot of people playing catch up, it is busier. And so if we can avoid catch up, I am tempted to I have been tempted a couple of times that and maybe I don't think I already put it. Megan, I think I told you I was going to put it in my engagement letter. I have not yet, that I know of, that I remember. If a client gets 90 days behind, potentially disengaging. Like if they get 90 days behind in getting me statements and things like that, it's maybe they don't, because like my business thrives on getting people their bookkeeping by the 20th of the month. That's when we're like moving and grooving really well. Things are done and stuff isn't stacking up, because once stuff starts stacking up, yeah, we might have a light June month because no one got us stuff, but that's really costly in those holiday months and during tax season. So whereas it would be a lot easier to just do it, still take the vacations the team needs and keep going. So there's my goal. Amber, I'm glad that you are prioritizing breaks or like your physical health. So taking walks during tax season. We've been taking walks almost every other day, if not every day right now. Yeah, like you got 5 clients behind. They're like, we're all ready to get cleaned up. Absolutely, Amber. And Amber, I'm assuming you're doing the bookkeeping and taxes. That's a lot to handle. A lot. Okay. It's really nice from recurring. I feel like a lot of people doing taxes can really increase their like stability through that. Unless I don't know if you've switched to a retainer model on your taxes side of things, or if you also do tax planning. But it can create really good packages where you can reduce your overall workload just in general and take on more quality returns and more quality bookkeeping. And I know some tax firms will just really, they're charging. So Sylvia, this might have been a situation where you were kind of in, where the bookkeeping is charged monthly, but it's really done closer to year end. So after the CPA firm gets done with audits and taxes and all of the extensions, then they turn their focus in those slow months. Everyone's focus when I was at CPA firms kind of turns to that bookkeeping, or the bookkeeping department really ramps up in their workload during that time. And so that could be a situation. So mostly tax rep and resolutions, but have been starting to do more bookkeeping. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Your husband wants to quit his job and work with you full time. That yields so much flexibility. Once you're both like working on the same schedule, like the world opens. Because are you remote, or do you have a location? My thought with there is if you're remote, okay. If you were fully remote, like you could work from anywhere and be anywhere in the world you and your husband. But having an office is actually really cool for marketing too. Okay. I don't see any additional questions.
Nope,
Sue
I was
says, I'm
just
really good at nagging. Good job. That is something you can also automate. So you can have your software nag your clients. Go ahead, Megan. Was there any other?
No, I was just saying I don't see any. I was double checking everywhere.
Okay.
I forgot you have the thing where it pulls all of them.
Yeah, I accidentally clicked off of it.
Oh,
I don't see anything. We're good.
okay.
We're
Yeah, I
good.
don't see.
Cool. Anna says, I have a question I'm working on. I sent out an engagement letter and it says it would debit the monthly charge on the date of acceptance and then April 1st. The debit on the date of acceptance is for March 20th. If they signed yesterday, correct. So that's for March bookkeeping or the cleanup. And then the April charge is for April. So that's okay. Yep. So is there, you're starting, Anna, I don't remember if you charged anything for January or February, but either way, yeah, that charge is for March. The April charge is for April. I would, if you're unsure, if he understands that, you can just say, hey, just want to send you a reminder that this just got charged, and then we're going to charge you again April 1st. And that's where being like, that's the communication side of things. Just want to make sure you understand. So looking forward to diving in. And I see I have another question from you. I will respond to that on Boxer. If the agreement is that you're going to charge January and February as well, all at the same time, you would charge all of that today. Or, you know, the date that you're charging. So today, tomorrow, whatever that date is. And then April 1st is just for April. So all of that onboarding fee is charged. I charge it at the same time. Yeah, you can mention it on the call and just say, hey, as a reminder, I see that, you know, we're doing this and this for January and February, this for March. Just a reminder, those are going to be charged today. As you know, so that total charge will be this. And then according to the engagement letter, we're going to start April forward, April 1st. I just want to let you know so you can, you know, do your cash flow. That you'll be charged again April 1st for April forward. And since those are hitting really close together, I just wanted, you know, to make sure you knew and were aware of that. Sometimes, like, that was really wordy coming from me. You'll get a business owner who's like, I don't care, just charge me. And so they're gonna like cut you off and be like, yep, just charge me. So know that if you get wordy like I do. Other times they might have some more questions. So okay, well, on that note, I think today was a fun call. Hopefully you guys had fun. I will see you guys next week. If you have any questions, need calls, need links, let us know. Amber, these calls do happen every Thursday with Q&A at the end. So absolutely. Same time. And if you want the link to the calendar to add them to your calendar, let us know. We'll get you that link. It should be in the chat already. Maybe. I don't know if it's in the chat. We can get them to you, or you can register via the website. There is a register link there, and you'll get the email reminders. So, okay. I will see you guys next Thursday or sooner if you're in the group, as some of you are. So,
Yep.
Bye, guys. Have
Bye.
a very good weekend.
You too.